Hey, what's happening, Internet? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Mr. Terrific thing tonight. Hopefully, everybody's having a fantastic evening. So, I will not be looking at the Fantastic Four Fortnite thing tomorrow. Probably be this weekend. Marvel Rivals Fortnite, or Marvel Rivals Fantastic Four will be tomorrow. And also the Fantastic Four game. Probably gonna do one post, maybe one or two post episodes of Donkey Kong. We'll see. See what I did there? Excuse me. I don't think Mr. Terrific is in the shop anymore. He was there for a little bit of time. But yeah, the Fantastic Four is coming to Fortnite, based on the First Steps movie. I don't believe the Superman skins are here anymore. Doesn't look like it. Nope. Okay, so we have to do this the hard way. We gotta find all Mr. Terrific stuff. Hooray! He uses something called T-spheres. There we go. Okay. Hi, Linky. Use a Mr. Terrific bat or something. Crystal. Ah! T-axe. Cool. Now, does he have any T-spheres? You guys can ask me questions about the Superman movie if you want. Nah, we can just have kind of a I was on the phone with my parents, so I'll have to film a short around 11 o'clock. I'm just trying not to work myself too hard. Linky, do you need to get downstairs? Is that what's going on? Gunn already set up the Terrifics. Oh wow, we have too many people. I don't think we can play. I don't think they're gonna let us. Try. The umbrella is from something else. Got somebody crazy dance. When I feel this weird, it's still that low. I guess we're still waiting to get in. Okay. Yeah, I think Superman should have a cameo in the Supergirl movie. Yeah. I think he should help her fight Lobo. Like, I think that she should get her butt kicked at the beginning half of the movie, and Superman should come in and help her out. Why not? The only reason Kara wasn't there to help Superman is she wasn't on the planet, so... What kind of excuse are they going to give that Superman, you know, that Superman couldn't help Kara? I'm just saying. Oh, sorry guys, I was a little spacey. Zelda just ate, so... So I guess I'm releasing my Superman review tomorrow. It's nothing special. It's just a picture and me talking about the movie for like 30 minutes. I don't have time to edit a fan video. Either people can have my thoughts on the movie. I don't have a lot of time to dedicate to that. Especially when I'm, you know, working on that uploaded series that people aren't watching. That was terrific. See what I did there? Booyah. I forgot how to jump. Oh. Yeah, the Superman review is for the O1 channel. Yes. Yes. Amber and I are going to have a Superman discussion on the weekend, playing Injustice. Yeah, without a question. I liked the Superman fight. It's just he's not a better Lex for me than Smallville or Clancy Brown. I was spoiled in the 90s and the early 2000s, okay? Even though the early 2000s they didn't wear the superhero costumes, they were great actors cast as the characters. And of course, I mean, Superman the Animated Series is peak Superman. Both Superman and Lex are perfect. Perfect. So, had I not grown up with that, yeah, I would probably say that, man, this is the best Lex Luthor I've ever seen, but I can't be honest with people, because I've seen better Lex. I've seen a better Superman, and I've seen a better Lex Luthor. Though these are very good live-action film versions of Lex and Superman. Probably my favorite film-accurate Lex Luthor I've ever seen. He has a little bit of Clancy Brown in him, he's got a little bit of Smallville, and a little bit of comics. Nicholas did a great job. He's still not the best yet. He just started. I even like his Lex better than the Richard Donner, like, you know, Christopher Reeve Superman. Smallville Lex. Fuck damn. Yeah, this Supergirl's gonna be broken. Yeah, I know. Zelda, were you a good girl? But you have to remember that for a lot of people, there's an entire generation. I know it's hard to understand, but there is an entire generation out there that has never seen 90s Superman. They've never seen Superman the Animated Series. They've never seen Lois and Clark. And they've never seen Smallville. So for them, based on, you know, going from BVS Lex to this version of Lex, yeah, it's a night and day difference for them. But they have not had proper Superman culture. They've only tasted a little bit. Some people have gotten a taste of what 90s Supermen were like, because they're in such a Superman, you know, mood right now that they're going back and they're watching the old stuff, and they're like, wait a second. They're like, hold on a second. What were these old shows cooking? I see so much in my feed right now of people reposting clips of Lois and Clark, the Superman animated series, and Smallville. It's all over my feed because these Generation Alpha and Beta people have never witnessed peak Superman until now. So for them, David is like not only their Superman, but the closest version of Superman is 90s kids? Nah, we got spoiled. We got spoiled immensely. I don't even know where he is. I'm not saying that to hurt people's feelings. It's just a better show. Better writing, better characterization, better Superman, better voice acting. It's just better. Yeah, I would agree. Lex was the best version of Smallville. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Because, like, Superman, aka Clark Kent, would never put on the costume. Lex did an amazing job. Michael did. He really sold it as Lex Luthor. Zelda, you better not have. Alright, I gotta put Zelda back in the basement. I'll be back. Terrific was just hanging in the air. Christopher Reeve will always be your favorite Superman. I liked Christopher Reeve as a kid, but I really liked Tim Daly as Superman. Tim Daly is the definitive Superman for me. I really like this Superman. I judge every Superman performance after Tim Daly. Because he resonated as Superman. Tim Daly sounded so good as Superman when George Newbern took over, I still heard Tim Daly. He just sounded like... George sounded like an older version of Tim Daly's Superman. Which made sense because, you know, he would be 10 years older or something like that. So he had a little bit more wisdom to his voice, but it still sounded like Tim Daly's Superman, mostly. It wasn't that different from the way that Tim spoke. You like George better than Tim? Yeah, Tim wasn't in it that long. George was actually, in terms of performances, I'm pretty sure George was Superman the longest. Tim was only Superman for 2 seasons and 1 movie, 2 video games, and a couple like Elseworlds movies, but that wasn't his Superman. That was a completely different Superman. Oh yeah, he looked older in Justice League. Yeah, of course. But the thing is, you know, Generation B and Generation A or whatever, they didn't grow up with the Superman that we had. And it's not just nostalgia, too. It's like, the Superman the Animated Series is timeless. You can rewatch that in any generation. Lois and Clark is a dated show, but a lot of people are finding it, you know, really fun nowadays, except for they don't like the 4:3 ratio for the show, and they don't like the fact that Superman doesn't really fight any noteworthy adversaries, which is true. In 4 seasons, they didn't really fight any major Superman villain at all. Okay. That's the problem I had with Dean Cain's Superman, is you know, as I got into the show and stuff like that, I really wanted to see him fight some really noteworthy adversaries, but he doesn't at all. He fought Metallo once, and he fought a bunch of Kryptonians, but the Kryptonians they didn't really fight at all, I don't think. Well, uh-oh. Just have a shotgun. Oh, great. Oh boy. Nice. We're still losing, but... I killed myself. Do I remember Bruce Campbell being in Lois and Clark? Yes. I don't remember who he played. I remember Howie Mandel played Miss Yes Fiddlick. I remember Lex Luthor had hair, which was, you know, a trope in the 90s, because in the comic books he had hair. During the Death of Superman comic, Lex had hair again. But I still believe that the Superman movie is an enormous step in the right direction for the character of Superman. I just didn't like some aspects of the movie. But I think the movie overall was good, and I'd like to see it again. I don't know when I'm gonna get to see it again. That's all. You're gonna go see Clayface and Supergirl next year? Okay, yeah, I don't want to play this again. How do I get out of this mode, by the way? No, just do it the old-fashioned way. I mean, that's what happens in this mode. It's just like that. It's no big. It's just how it is. So we're gonna try post-game of Donkey Kong tomorrow. What time is it? Alright. So guys, I'm going to need you to watch the shorts in the background to keep things stable. And then I'm going to have to make a new YouTube short on something. Let's see, where is the... There it goes. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go see a horror clip. I don't like horror movies. I don't do well with those. Yeah, I heard about that. The Aztec Batman finally released a trailer. They announced that movie several years ago. I have to stay hydrated so I don't end up in the hospital again. And they told me to add water to my juice. And I'm like, ugh. It's disgusting, but I have to get properly hydrated so I don't end up causing problems, because if I'm not hydrated enough, then it actually, dehydration messes up your heart. So since they're monitoring stuff, they want me to make sure I'm drinking plenty of liquids. I'm like, okay. But it is disgusting. Aztec Batman is a thing. I can do some Respawn Rumble if people want to join, or whatever. I don't really want to do the OG Fortnite thing at the moment. Maybe I'll do some squads later too. Yeah, Aztec Batman is a movie about... it's a Hollywood approach. Like they make the, I think it's the Spanish conquistadors or something versus the Aztecs is the movie. The thing is, they're not going to give you an accurate, you know, portrayal of the Aztecs, because the Aztecs weren't good people either. The Aztecs did human sacrifice. Like, they murdered a good chunk of their population, but because they want to show that Western people is the devil, they're not going to have the Aztecs do anything shady. And the Aztecs did a lot of really bad stuff. which, you know, history doesn't want you to know about, but they did. Human sacrifice, mass disease, orgies, all kinds of stuff. They did a lot of things to spread disease in their own, you know, kingdom, but they just want to, you know, white devil that. So I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I have a rough idea that they're probably going to make the invading force, like, really bad or something to, you know, make Aztec Batman do his thing. But I might watch it. I don't know. I just have a feeling that's what it's going to be about. I think that the Western people are going to be perceived as the villains of the movie. Highly likely. But I'm just telling you, in history, the Aztecs were not good people. Human sacrifice is not a good thing. Did I like crypto? Yes and no. I like the idea of crypto, but I didn't like how crypto kept coming in and ruining a scene. I thought crypto was really cute. And I like the moments between him and Clark where he's jumping all over the dog. Like, the dog is jumping all over him and playing fetch and all that other stuff. I just didn't like how crypto would come in and ruin an importance of a scene. Like, I hated that. Superman's having a moment with a character, crypto comes in. Superman is having an important monologue at the end of the movie, crypto comes in. You know, there's... James Gunn doesn't allow a scene to breathe. He didn't do it in Guardians of the Galaxy, but the problem I have with the Superman movie is, for me, it feels like he's trying to make Superman act too much like Peter from Guardians of the Galaxy. And the Guardians of the Galaxy random humor works because Peter Quill is an idiot. Superman is not an idiot. You know what I mean? So we have way too many people, so I'm going to have to kick people. How many people can we go in with? Alright, I'm gonna have to start kicking people. Sorry guys, but this mode is very few people is allowed, so nothing personal, but I'm gonna have to start kicking people. Let's... Because I don't even... And it's not even my thing, like... The, Fortnite ruined their own game. Like, they 100% did. You know? It's like, it used to be this thing where you could go in with, like, tons of people, have fun, play online in their Team Rumble thing. They shut that all down. So, you know, it's just really stupid. Because I used to like going in with like 20 people and being able to play with as many people as possible. And you can't do that anymore. It's stupid. There we go. That should be enough. Sorry people, like I said, I have no choice. Yeah, only 8 players. See, that's absolutely ridiculous. See, the original Fortnite, the Team Battle Royale or whatever it was, you could go in with so many people, right? And then you would tackle another group of people that had, like, a huge amount of folks on the other side. It was more doable. But going in with 8 people, that's ridiculous. That's not fair. Plus, somebody's feelings always gets hurt when you kick them out of the game, you know? Yeah, I agree, Blue Scat. They ruined their game bad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. And the OG Fortnite mode is so busted that it's not fun to play. Like, you can't exit it. Once you go into the OG Fortnite mode, you're stuck playing against the same lame team the entire time. That's not fun either. Oh, the map was more open and fun. Yeah, you could do a lot. I don't know why they decided to do that, but I don't think it's going to help, like, their game improve or anything like that. I could be wrong, but, I mean, I don't really like playing Fortnite anymore after they changed that stuff. I didn't really like playing Fortnite before, though. I played Fortnite with my viewers, and I feel like I could do more with a community stream with them in Fortnite. Now I can't. Now I have to, like, pay attention to how many people I have in my team and try to kick the right people and, you know, go back into the lobby, and it's just, it's too much work. I don't like it. Yeah, but getting back to what I originally said, I think Crypto was a really cute character. It's just, he ruined so many scenes. The old saying is, less is more. Like, Crypto should have been in the movie, but they should have utilized him in key parts of the film. The time I really started to like the movie more is when Crypto was captured. When Crypto was gone from the movie, that's when I started to like the movie more, because now the characters were actually able to get some space between them and the dog, and they weren't randomly interrupted. And I understand dogs tend to do that, like, they come in and they interrupt you, but you can't have that constantly be happening your entire movie. That's not a good thing. Dog lovers might like it, but the rest of us, you know, when we see that in the movie, it kind of becomes a predictable trope at that point. It's like, oh, why? This again? You just did this joke. It's basically like, you know how in comedy, there's a thing where they say a bit lasts too long? The Crypto jokes lasted too long. They outstayed their welcome. They were funny when they happened, but when they continued to happen the same way over and over and over and over again, at that point, you're beating a dead horse. Like, it's boring, you don't like it anymore, it's annoying. Okay, you made your point before, get on with it, you know? That's the thing. Because I'm not there to see Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, or 3. I don't need Peter's humor used for Superman and Crypto. It doesn't work. Superman is a guy that does use levity a little bit, and the times that Superman did one-liners and he made little jokes and stuff like that, it worked. It didn't feel like Star-Lord, but it's like when they tried to add too much to a scene to make it like, okay, we're gonna do this with Superman. Not only did Superman appear like a very weak character, but also he became too much of a joke. Like, the more I kept looking at Superman hanging out with the Justice Gang, I was like, there's no way that this guy's ever going to be able to lead the Justice League, because his dog doesn't listen to him, and the Justice Gang doesn't even listen to him. He doesn't have any authority because people know he's a jerk. Go back and watch the scene where Lois, you know, goes to talk to the Justice Gang. None of them really care about helping Superman as their friend because they don't respect him. It's that simple. You can't command authority of people if you don't have respect. No one's going to listen to you. It was like watching an episode of Teen Titans Go where everybody, you know, Robin's the leader, but nobody pays attention to him. Even Guy Gardner, who's the leader of the Justice Gang, has more people respect him because they know he's a powerful character. Even though they don't like working for him, they still work for him, both Mr. Terrific and Bird Lady, Hawk Girl. You know, and they all know Guy's a jerk, but they know who the chain of command is. Even though Henry Cavill's Superman was never the leader of the Justice League, I could see him as the leader of the Justice League in the future because he had, like, this aura of, like, command about him, you know? It's going to take a lot for me to see David as the leader of a Justice League. Like, I highly doubt he will be. I think Batman will end up being the leader, just like the DC animated universe. This Superman is more of a team player. He's not a leader. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, you know, an observation. And, you know, like I said, I like the movie, but there were parts of it that, the more I think about it, it's kind of like, okay. But, you know, I liked Rex, I liked Mr. Terrific, I liked Lois. Did not like Jimmy. Did not like Jimmy at all. Wanted to like Jimmy, but Jimmy's just, ugh. And I have a feeling we're going to see more of Jimmy. I have a feeling we're going to see more Jimmy than we want to see. Have I seen Star Trek? I grew up with Star Trek: The Next Generation. Yeah, I know. Jimmy's getting a spin-off series, and I don't like his character. I know. I do not like Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy is a horn dog. I don't like him. Jimmy is the nerdy guy with a harem. And apparently people were like totally fine with that. They're like, oh, so Jimmy gets girls. That's cool. It's like, so Jimmy uses girls to get information? That works. Okay. Did not care for Jimmy. Maybe in future installments I'll like him more, but I don't like this version of Jimmy Olsen. Gorilla Grodd is going to be seen in the Jimmy spinoff. Interesting. Jimmy Olsen show? I don't know. I still would love David to get a Superman video game, though. I think that when James Gunn said, oh yeah, we want to have our characters who you've seen appear as those characters in animated form and video games, it's like, sweet, give David a Superman game, let's go. We didn't get a Superman Origin movie, give us a Superman Origin game. Call it Superman Origin, starring David Cornsweet, boom. There you go. Give us more to like about this Superman. You know, let David stretch not only his acting muscles, but for the public to get used to his Superman more. I'm sorry, but if his Superman doesn't appear again, like, without his own movie, this wasn't enough of a, what's the word? An establishment of the character to be the big, you know, leader of the Justice League. I don't see it. He's a nice guy, and, you know, he's a Superman that I want to root for, but I need to see some, you know, I need to see Superman stop whining. He felt too much like a beta. It was a little annoying. Lois, you can tell, wears the pants in her relationship. Superman is very emotional. He has to use his Kryptonian parents' message like a lullaby or something when he has a boo-boo. It was a little annoying. I was like, okay. And then, you know, his constant interaction with Lois, and it was like watching gender roles reversed. Like, Lois acts like a man in their relationship, and Superman acts like an emotional woman. As Clark Kent. Like, I would have, that whole fight between them, like the Superman interview, I would have cut out like 4 minutes of that. It didn't need to be an 8 or 10 minute scene. It went on way too long. It was a good scene, and it established their relationship, but also it didn't establish a healthy relationship. I was like, why are you doing a 10-minute scene of this? It doesn't need to be this long. It's like, what are you doing, James? It's like, I think that the scene would have worked better if it was only like 5 or 6 minutes long. It's like a 10-minute scene, I believe. You act like a girl, I yell at you, you cry? I don't yell at my fans very much. I don't think so. You sent a highlighted message? Let me see. Thank you, Geeky PJ. I appreciate that. And congrats on the 12-month milestone. That's awesome, man. Thank you very much for your membership. Hang on, I gotta turn this down. It's loud. It's very loud. No, it's not. That's not. I can explain. Okay, so her being a tough reporter, that's not what I'm talking about. Her, like, being the man in the relationship. Like, Clark gets really flustered, he gets very emotional, and Lois said some mean things to him, and then he leaves her apartment. He leaves her apartment in a huff. A man doesn't usually do that. Like, Lois having a better job than him, or Lois, you know, interviewing him the way she is, like, she's all calm and whatever, and he's the one who's, like, kind of crashing out, and then he leaves. That's not usually what happens in an argument between a man and a woman. Most arguments, like, realistic arguments between a man and a woman, is the girl gets very upset. She may throw things. She may yell at the top of her lungs, leave a room, come back and yell at you some more, possibly peel out in her vehicle, come back, yell at you more, while you're sitting here completely calm. And you're just trying to be like, okay, you know, because, you know, women need space when they get really angry. But seeing the roles reversed where, like, it's one thing if he just was going to be like, I'm going, and then she's like, oh, you're leaving now? You know, she's making fun of him leaving. That's not usually what happens. Like, so that's what I'm saying. The roles are reversed. The gender roles are reversed in that scene. Does that make sense? That's not normal. That doesn't happen in anime. That doesn't happen on TV. You know, it's a weird thing for me to witness as an alpha. Like, I'm just kind of like, what? That's not how men and women argue. Maybe that's how A and B people, like generations A and B or Generation Z argues, but that's not normal. Women get very, very emotional. And they usually have to leave or they yell at you or whatever. And a guy, most of the time, when we get in arguments with girls, we don't know what we did. We're not consciously aware of it until later. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I screwed up. And you go and you try to make things up, you know? But we're not usually consciously aware of everything that happens because women speak in, like, rapid fire. Ba, 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 ba. Good toast. I've been married for 19 years. I've seen men and women argue. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not a beta. I'm not a Generation Z, Generation Alpha, Generation B. I'm from the 1980s. I've been happily married for 19 years. How long have you been married? I'm curious. You call me out, I put the hot seat on you, Toast. How long you been married, huh? How many relationships you been in? Come on, tell me. I'm not gonna ban you, I'm just curious. You wanna tell me how to do my job? Spill it. Let's go. How many years you been married? Come on. I'm waiting. You want to disrupt my chat? Let's go. Come on, pal. Yeah, we're going on our 20th next year, yep. Coming to my chat, disrupt stuff. Not even back it up. Okay. Well, we just celebrated our anniversary in June. That's weak, Toast. You got nothing. I never said it's wrong for men to show emotions. I'm saying Clark acted like a woman. You didn't back anything up of your argument. You just threw insults. You backed nothing up. Weak. Gotta give me something. I've given you illustrations from my own life, as well as relationships I've had. And I know couples who act like that, so what nonsense are you talking about? Tell me how long you've had one relationship last. Are you single? You single? You married? You engaged? What? You better not be single and telling me this crap. Come on, out with it. What's the longest relationship you have last? A year? A month? A week? You in the friend zone? What's going on? I'm curious. Anyway. So what were we talking about before? We were talking about the Superman argument. I think that the scene would have worked better if it lasted just a few minutes. Like maybe 5-6 minutes. The cooking part was fine. The first part of the interview made sense. Also, I didn't get to see the actual argument because the theater cut out to black. Did they show any clips of Superman, you know, dealing with the foreign affair thing? Like, did James show any clips of Superman, like, doing anything? Because I told you guys, the theater blacked out twice during the movie, so I didn't actually get to see a couple parts of the movie because the screen was black, and I just heard voices. What would have made the scene work better for me if they were actually showing, you know, some of the things that Superman was doing. Like, as kind of like, hey, here's a flashback while they're talking. We get to see Superman doing this or that. Like, did he just describe the scene, or did he actually... Did James Gunn show footage of things? Because most of the 10-minute, like, chat between them and that, Lois and Clark was black screen. There was nothing there. Right, but you don't... I am an authority figure when it comes to marriage, pal. You got nothing. You cannot, as a single person, tell me that I don't know what a relationship is between a man and a woman. You know nothing. Therefore, you have no say whatsoever. Of course I'm going to jump down your throat if you challenge me and you can't back it up. I'm a New Yorker, pal. The hell are you talking about? I just asked you for one... I wanted to know one thing about you that proves that you could even challenge me in this regard about relationships that I know a lot about because I've been successfully married for almost 20 years. Okay? That's it. And you tell my chat not to listen to me? I'm an authority figure in this chat. This is my chat, my rules. My channel. I'm going to talk however I want. Oh, it is. It is his first relationship, Alpha, as far as we know. Yeah. Hello, Jim. I never said he had to leave the channel. I said I'm not banning him. I just wanted him to step up to the plate and prove something. He's not. He's just going to talk around in circles. So, there's no point. I used stuff from my own marriage. I've used things from my dating experience with women, because I have dated various women before I got married. And that's how they all acted. Now, maybe things have changed in 20 years, but I had a girl get really mad at me. I was dating her, and she threw a, what was it? She just threw a soda at me or something at my car. She got really angry. She ended up walking on the highway. I picked her up, and I brought her home. We didn't go out a second time, but yeah, she definitely crashed out. I don't even know what I said to make her so angry, but that happened. You've heard Amber get mad sometimes, you know? I try to mute the microphone when she's, like, upset about something, but I'm human, I make mistakes. Sometimes people can hear her in the background. But she'll come into the room, she'll say something, she'll leave, she'll come back. It's just something that they do sometimes. You just kind of have to be like, okay, how am I supposed to handle this? Do I yell back at her, or do I just let her go off and try to stay as calm as possible? Because if I get angry and emotional with her, this fight's going to continue longer. So I just let her say her piece, wait for it to wrap up, and then, you know, I go upstairs, knock on the door, and ask if I can, like, you know, if she wants to talk. If she says, don't talk to me, it's like, okay, I'm not going to talk to you right now. I'll talk to you later. That's usually how... that's usually how we deal with arguments. And that's how most anime is, too. The girl gets really mad. And then the guy's like, I did something bad, didn't I? And she calls him Baka or something. Neither the guy figures it out or you're completely clueless. Some of you married guys know what I'm talking about, because you've been married, so you know. The hardest thing that you can do in this world that I've found is understand women. I still don't understand women. I think women are beautiful, great, good companions, your best friend. I still don't understand them. And I never will. The greatest mystery in the world. Fun mystery, though. But guys are going to screw up a lot. It's in our nature. You timed him out? I didn't ask you to do that. No, whatever. I'm sorry, Sammy. You found a good girl, though, right? You married her. You married the best one. That's what you have to look at it this way, Sam. You had some bad dating experiences. I did, too. I had ladies crash out at me. I had girls cheat on me. I married the best one. The cream of the crop. I married the best girl from that era. Very happy with my decision. All these years later. You did the same thing. You went through a lot of bad stuff. You married your girl. You didn't settle for your girl. You chose her. You know? And I wish you guys the best. I hope that you get 20 years together. Or more, you know? That's how you have to look at it. If you manage to get a girl to say yes to you, then you did everything right for that to happen. So that's a win. Even if the rest of your life doesn't go the way that you want, I think you did the most important thing, which is you found the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. That's what I did. I make a lot of screw-ups in my life, but the most successful thing I did was never YouTube. It was marrying Amber. That's the most successful thing I've ever done. That's my, like... The one thing that I got right was Amber. Everything else has been hit or miss. YouTube, Twitch, all that stuff. Game journalism. Yep. Oh my gosh, you married a feisty girl? R.I.P. Sammy. You've never had a girlfriend? I mean, you have to have a courage to go talk to a girl. It's hard this day and age, though. My dating advice doesn't really work for a lot of people because I'm not equipped to deal with the generation that you guys use apps and things. Like, my generation went to coffee shops, church, parks, the mall, grocery store. That's how we met women. You know, some of us went to the bar, but for the most part, you would find women. The best place to find women back in the day was the grocery store, single ladies, Blockbuster, Sam Goody, which was a record store, church, always church, coffee places. But you guys have an app for everything now. I don't use apps. I don't know how to use apps. Like, Amber has to show me how to use most of the apps that exist today because I don't even know how to use them very much. She tried to put Uber on my phone. I was like, how the heck do I use this thing? Because, like, when I went in the hospital, what was it, last week? They were like, hey, I might have to go to work, so you're going to have to call an Uber. I'm like, okay, I'll just call them on the phone. She's like, no, use an app. I said, what? She says, yeah, you have to set it all up through the app. It's like, why can't I just call the phone? She's like, who are you going to call? Be like, I call Uber, right? Just call an Uber. And she says, no, you have to use the app. I was like, well, why? So I don't understand how to use all these different apps. Amber does. I know how to use gaming apps and my, what is it? My short editor on my phone. But that's about it. You married your bully? Isn't there an anime about marrying your bully? Something like that. I'm shy when it comes to talk to girls. You can try my trick. It might work for you. I had a hard time looking at girls in the eyes, so I'd look at their feet. Because I'd be worried that they think I'd stare at their chest, so I didn't look at their eyes. I looked at their feet. Most of the time they said yes. Because, you know, I was trying to be respectful of them because, I mean, back in the day, I don't know if girls still do this, but back then, girls wore very tight clothing in the 2000s. Girls dressed like, I wouldn't, not conservative. There was a lot of crop tops and tight t-shirts and dresses with, we'll say, peekaboo. So, you know, it was, as a man, it was very difficult to not accidentally see something when you were trying to look at a girl's eyes. So, since I was a tall person, I'm like 6'3", 6'4", I did my best to make sure that I looked at their feet. So, not only did it appear that I was shy, but also, like, I was being respectful of them. It wasn't like I'm, like, trying to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, bad motives or something like that. And it worked. Like, every girl, even though I only got, like, 1 or 2 dates, most of the girls respected that when I never got, my eyes are up here. No girl ever said that to me. My eyes are here. They never said that. A couple of them were like, oh, you're very shy. That's cute. Yep, look at their feet or look at the ground, yeah. Or try to look over their head. I know it seems weird, but, you know, they can't accuse you of looking at them. Nowadays, you guys have to worry about girls, like, saying, ah, this guy is a pervert, or whatever. He's looking at me, or he's, the whole gym culture. I don't go to the gym anymore, but a lot of you guys, I've heard stories from some of you where you told me that you get accused of looking at a girl when you're just there to do reps and, you know, get some gains and stuff like that. And you've had altercations with women you've never met, accusing you of stuff. I feel for you. I don't know how to help with that. Because, one, I'm married, and two, I don't go to the gym anymore. So, I've never had to deal with I guess they call it gym culture, or I don't know. Gym trap? I don't know. Because you never know if somebody's, like, filming a vlog or something, social media. I don't know. We're in the era of TikTok, so... I don't really know how to help with that. I'd be curious. Sammy, you're much younger than me. How did you meet your wife? Like, did you do traditional dating things? Like, you actually meet up, like, ask her out, and you, like, went to a coffee place, or the movies, or something? Or did you meet through, like, a dating service, or, like, an app, or a friend? I met my girl because I asked her out in person, and then we went, you know, our first date was driving around and going to a coffee place and stuff like that. But you know, that was 20-something years ago. So I have no idea what it's like today. That's why you prefer fictional women. I mean, I wouldn't believe everything you see on the internet, like... Because here's why I say this, okay? I pay attention to things. There's all this stuff about women trying to gotcha men, but at the same time, there are women who are in their, like, early 30s and late 20s that get very upset when men don't approach them. So, not every woman is like the one that's trying to say she hates all men and she's trying to, you know, prove that we're monsters or whatever, right? Because if that was true, then we wouldn't have these videos that women post where they're upset that men don't approach them. So you know something is off. There's no third option, that's right. Whether you walk away calmly or stay and calmly resolve it. In my case, I can't stay and calmly resolve it. Like, when my wife goes off, I need to let her go off, and I need to stay away from her. I need to let it, she has to get it out of her system, because even if I walk toward her, like, she could feel provoked. So what she does is she usually leaves the area and she goes to a room where she feels safe and she shuts the door. And then after she's calmed down, then I go and knock on the door and ask, hey, do you want to talk this over? And if she says, no, don't bother me, it's like, I respect that and I'm going to leave you alone. You know. And then after that, she'll text me and then we'll talk. But, like, I don't ever, like, assert my authority over her. In the biblical sense, I'm supposed to be the leader of this marriage. Like, that's what the Bible says, you know. But at the same time, I view our relationship as a partnership. Like, you know, two people. So I don't know if I necessarily do it the biblical way, where, you know, the man is supposed to be the head of the family and stuff like that. I do in some regards, but also I see that Amber and I are a team. Like, we go through life together. Like, video game stuff, like player 1, player 2. And player 1 is not any better than player 2. That's just my thing. I don't know if that clashes with religious stuff or not, but, you know, I don't think so. There's not really a specific guidebook of how to do marriage right. You have to work at it every day. I've been working at it for 19 years. I'm still married. You know? I don't have the secrets for it. I just work at it. Amber works at it. When two people put a lot of work toward it, you know, things go better. That's what I've seen. The problem is you're not a people person. Ooh, yeah, it's hard to talk to people, it is. The only reason I have a confidence to talk to people is I was a radio DJ, I was a journalist. What got me out of my comfort zone I was terrified the first... what was it? My first night as a DJ was horrifying. I came off, there was this really famous DJ in Rockford, Illinois, and I was the guy who had to follow up on him. You know, everybody loved him. And I had a deeper voice than he did. But, you know, I didn't have this amazing intro planned when the "you're on the air" thing. So I was very scared, so I just spoke very low, said the name of the radio station, and, you know, I played my first song, whatever it was, something from the 80s. I think it was Phil Collins, like Air of Night or something like that. And then, I had my first caller come in. I talked to them a little bit, and then as the night went on, I got more confidence, but I was still very shaky. It took a long time for me to have, like, you know, a radio personality. And I didn't do that job very long, but that was one thing, like speaking over a microphone. What really threw me to the sharks was I was a reporter, and I had to cover an event in New York City. And I'd never interviewed somebody before, like, not in person. And not only did I have to interview them, I had to interview them on camera in front of other people watching me that I've never met. So I was in, I don't remember what it was. It was a New York City related thing. I think it was for Saban. But Amber was there filming it. There was hundreds of people in the room. Very small room, too, because people are coming and going. It's in a hotel. And there's all these different people, you know, interviewing different game developers. And it's my first time. So I think it was probably like 2008, 2009. I don't remember. And I was like deer in the headlights. Like, the light came on, and Amber pointed at me and, you know, told me, you know, let's go. And I froze. And then the person looked at me. They're like, have you done this before? It's like, yeah. Let's try that again. And eventually, you know, I basically made the other person, the interviewee, do most of the talking. Right? And then I started to get a little bit more comfortable because it felt like more of a conversation, but my legs were shaking. You couldn't see it on camera because I was, you know, trying to stand as still as possible, but my legs were like wobbly because it was nerve-wracking. I was in front of all these people I didn't know. I was in a giant building in New York City, and I have a fear of heights. So we were in a big building that had, like, open windows. And I'm standing right here, right next to the open window. So it could have been a combination of fear of heights plus fear of people. But I did the interview, and my boss gave me pointers. And then, you know, as time went on, I got really more comfortable being in a crowd. Like, going to places with packs and stuff would still bother me. But when I was in that booth of, like, a game developer stuff, like, all the other people would just, like, disappear for me, and I could do my job, right? But it was hard to do. The best way to speak to people is to get out there and try it. Like, you know, some people will be able to pick up on your nervousness, but, you know, not just in, like, the video game sense, like, in, you know, if you're a reporter or not. Like, just speaking to people in general. It's always hard to put yourself out there. You just have to put one foot in front of the other and try. Because, you know, what happens when you fail is you learn how to succeed. You cannot succeed in life if you do not fail. It is not possible. Not everybody in this room is Casanova, and, you know, that's fine. You build up confidence, and you build up a way of speaking with girls and women the more you talk to them. That's how it works. You're never going to get anywhere if you don't try it. Like, you can't let fear hold you back too much. Does that make sense? You have no idea how many times I got rejected. I took a lot of shots on goals with girls, and I only had 6 of them say yes to a date. 6. And I asked a lot of girls. A lot. Didn't work out. Didn't work out until I found the right one. You have a question, was Amber my first wife? She still is my first wife. I'm working on a second. No. Amber's the first. And only. There was never a starter wife. It was always Amber. Mm-hmm. Amber and I were babies. We were in our early 20s. We got engaged when I was 21 and she was 20. I'm sorry, Keith. That happens sometimes. I'm sorry to hear that, Keith. I won't bring that up, you know, on the air if you don't want me to. But I gotta make the YouTube short real quick, guys. We gotta get the cats out here. And then I'll get the short up for you guys and all that fun stuff. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I had that problem too. Like, I literally gave up dating. I went out with a very toxic girl, and that to me was like the end of it. And I was just like, I'm swearing off women. I'm focusing on my career. I called up my uncle and I said, hey, can I come live with you in Florida for a while? I need to get out of Illinois. And I don't want to be in New York either. And he's like, what's up? He says, I just need some work experience. And he's like, yeah, sure, come live with me for this the year, and I'll put you to work. I said, cool. And I was finishing up where I lived in Illinois. I took the job with my uncle. And the week before I was supposed to leave, I was helping my mom out at the school she worked at. She worked at a private school that was run out of a church. And I was doing the teacher's aide thing for her. And I was on bathroom duty. I took a kid to the bathroom. And Amber was playing piano in the cafeteria because, you know, it's a church. I went in because I heard this cute little melody I've never heard on the piano before. And I saw this beautiful girl playing it. And I shot my shot. And I had a line of, like, little guys that needed to use the bathroom. And I was just like, hold up a sec. Big brother needs to go talk to this fine creature. So, you know, I walked in there and I was like, hey. And she's like, hi. I was like, so, listen. I don't even remember all the things I said to her, but I wasn't really paying attention to what she was wearing. I was looking over her head because she was sitting down. And I just said, you know, you should come to my church sometime. And then after that, we can grab a coffee. And she was like, okay. And so that's how it happened. And then Amber came to church and I asked her out properly. But I first got her to come to my church. And then when she was in my territory, I felt more confident because I was the pastor's son. And I asked her out to you know, coffee or whatever we did from my church. So that's how it happened. But I called up my uncle the minute after. I was like, sorry, Unc, I got a opportunity that I want to see how this goes. And he's like, all right. So I you know, didn't go down to Florida. I stayed in Illinois, but I was ready to leave. I had my bags packed. I was finishing up stuff in Illinois so that I could go down to Florida and work with my uncle. And, you know, I was going to totally change the direction of my life. And my uncle was, like, super strict. Like, probably be no more gaming, no more anything. Just working on a moving business, because that's what he owned. He owned real estate and a moving company. So that's where I was going. I was just like, I'm done with all this nonsense. And when I stopped looking, that's when I found her. So sometimes if you look too hard, you're going to completely miss what could be in front of your face. So for me, the old saying goes, not my time, but God's timing. I tried to rush every relationship I was in, and it all backfired. It was like an exploding batarang in the face. I really, really tried to push for things. I wanted to have a girlfriend, like, really early on in high school. Never happened. I wanted a girlfriend in college. Didn't work out. You know, I was always pushing. I was always like, I'm gonna have this happen. And when I stopped looking, that's when I found it. But anyway, I gotta film the short. I'll be back, okay? We'll be back after these messages. Oh wow, you leave for a few minutes and everybody starts to have existential crises. Booyah! Okay, so let's move on from things were getting a little off topic there. And somebody was asking me, do you like always chew out users? No. I do not have patience and humility the way that my wife does. Amber and I are two different people. Am I always going to fight with users? No. This is the last stream of the night. I'm winding down. I've been in the hospital twice for heart-related stuff, so I'm a little on the edge. So, you know, I even asked my mods. I said, don't ban the guy, but I don't know if they banned him. So I don't know what happened in the chat afterwards. You know, I was just trying to see if the person could back up actual experience instead of just, you know, fancy words. And, you know, I don't dislike the guy or anything. It's just I was giving him an opportunity to share his wisdom with us, because I actually told people my own experiences and other things, like to use as illustrations, and the other person gave me nothing and then refused to say that they don't need to tell me anything. So, you know, that's where that came from. I don't make it my business to go and fight with viewers, but you know, so no, that's not true about me. But also I do tend to I get a little confrontational, because that's just how I am. Like, if somebody's going to say something and I see it, I'm going to say something. If I don't see it and you say something, well, you know, count your lucky stars I didn't see it. But and late at night, when there's less people here and you say something, chances are I'm going to see it and respond. So it's not like, you know, other YouTubers where you can just go and say stuff and you're not going to get any heat for it. It doesn't work that way. But we're going to do some squads. We're going to hang out with Mr. Terrific. The cat short is up. Continue. I don't even know how long we were on break. Say 225 BRB. Relationship stuff. I don't know. 150, 57 relationship stuff. Also, in my defense, I didn't know that person, and also, like, they didn't look like a regular. I'm not gonna go out of my way to, you know, get in confrontations with regulars, but people I've never seen before that, you know, are trying to take away the conversation of my channel and try to make me look like, you know, a villain or something like that, I'm gonna confront you and be like, hey, what's this about? But a paying member or somebody who I know, you know, probably will talk to you in private. Oh my gosh, that is so dark. I'm not that old, Jacob. My gosh. You were obsessing over my channel at one point? That's kind of nice. But my gosh, I mean, seriously. I'm not that old. Like, I'm not planning on going anywhere yet. So, saying gonna outlive me, maybe. It's possible. If you're 20 years younger than me, I'll probably still be around. If you're, like, really young, like 30 years younger than me or something like that, yeah, probably. But, I mean, it's been hard for me because I grew up, most of the people that I grew up watching on TV, they're all going away now. You know, some of the first people that I ended up watching, Cosby Show and Batman the Animated Series, all that other stuff, those people are, you know, 30, 40 years later, they're going away. Sucks. That's life, though. The great thing about media today, though, is you can always have the memories and replay whatever you want. Like, I have over 17,000 videos. You can replay whenever you want. You know, you can see me in my prime whenever, in pristine YouTube glory. You know? I'm not going to want to watch myself when I'm in my 50s and 60s. I hope I'm not doing this in my 50s and 60s. I don't know, though. Only God knows. I have no idea. I thought for real that we were going to lose the channel this last month. I thought that was it. And then you guys did the thing on Patreon, and, you know, God found a way of making us stick around. I thought that was the end, personally. I was like, oh, that's it. That's the end of the channel. There's no way we can sustain ourselves. We haven't been paid for 30, 36, 37 days. There's no way. And all of a sudden, the Patreon, and some people got a hold of our, you know, we gave them our PayPal, and they responded in kind, and, you know, they're good. Holy crap, are we getting killed by bots or other players? Like, what's going on here? Are these bots or other players? Am I getting wrecked by bots? Holy crap. I don't know, these guys seem to be way too good for bots. Thank you for letting you back in. I mean, you know. The hardest advice I had to give somebody is they're like, what am I gonna do someday? It's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, I don't want to go away. It's like, everyone's gonna go away. That's the whole scary thing about life. There's nothing you can do about it. My grandmother was so obsessed with living that she didn't really live. She lived to be 100 years old, but she didn't really do much with her life. She stayed inside, she ate fresh fruits and vegetables, and she never really went out and experienced life, though. She was too afraid of dying for her to live. But she did live to be 100, but she was always, you know, finding a way to live as long as she could, but I don't really know if I can say that my grandmother really lived life, though. I can't say I've really lived life either, though, because I do video games for a living. I'm inside a lot. I don't know. I like my life, but I don't know if I would really be a good example of, quote-unquote, living my life. I don't know. But no, you're not alone. Like, most of us, we just don't like talking about it because people go crazy. I had a friend who was obsessed with that stuff. And he ended up, like... He was so worried about the end that he never got to experience what it was like to just, you know, have fun in life. You know? He's not around anymore because... he was always too busy looking over his shoulder for something that he didn't see when he drove off a cliff. That's actually a literal thing. He was so worried about life that he didn't live. But let's change gears, okay? Alright, we got the short just in time. Okay. So far you guys have watched the short about 105 times. Let's keep up the pressure of the short. Indeed, yeah. We don't want to talk about life too much because life gets dark. Well, see, your mind is like a supercomputer, okay? If you talk about things that make you upset or you're worried about, you're going to think about a lot. So it's always good to distract your mind with things that make you happy. Happy endorphins are really good. Like, look at me. I don't watch the news. If I watched the news, I'd probably be dead and gone already with a heart attack years ago from all the rage, you know. I don't watch the news. I don't watch divisive things. I don't have conversations with people that I know that's gonna, you know, divulge into, like, really crazy stuff. If I want to know what's going on in the world, I'll read a headline or go to a website, you know, or Twitter. I don't need to watch a very toxic news stations in order to find out what's going on in the world. But that's just me, you know. I prefer to put things in my life that make my life happy, or things that I enjoy, like anime, gaming, you know, my cats, my relationship with my wife, that kind of stuff. Good food. I'm bummed today, though. I made a mistake. So I've been using Thousand Island dressing lately to spice up my sandwiches. Guess what happened? My wife made me a wonderful sandwich today with my Thousand Island dressing, and it was left out. Yeah, that was actually perfect timing with the broken video game thing. So I went into the kitchen to get some water, and I saw the Thousand Island out, and it's been out for like 4 or 5 hours, so that's ruined. Like, you can't put that back in the fridge, so I had to throw it out. It was half full. I'm just like, oh, ha, ha. It hurts so much. It's gone. Forever. I'm gonna have to buy another one. The reason why you talk about your depression is because it makes it go away. When I used to talk about my depression, it ended me up in the hospital. Just ignoring my depression is how I got over it. Everybody's different, though. Me talking about it made it worse. When I ignored it and I put other things in my life in place of it, you know, I did better. But there are people that are different. Some people benefit from therapy, some people don't. Therapy makes people better, therapy makes people worse. Every person is different. Every person is unique. But there are relationship traits based on, you know, how we're made, how we're, you know, how our DNA works. Men are natural leaders, men are the hunter-gatherers, women are the caretakers. They're a lot nicer than us. There are nice guys, but I mean, children tend to like women a lot more than they like men. Have you noticed that? Kids are scared of guys. Dads usually mean you're going to get a spanking or you're going to get disciplined. Mom means you're going to get, if you had a bad day or you had a boo-boo, mom's going to take care of you because mom really cares about you. Your dad isn't going to spend a lot of time, like, you know, making sure everything in your life is perfect, or that, you know, you had a rough day. They're going to console you. They're going to say things like, well, you fell off the horse, get back on it. And you don't like hearing that stuff, but it's important to have, like, male figures in your life tell you how it is. How else are you going to learn? And it's rough, but I mean, that's the role of a man is not something that usually rewards us. Like, there's an old saying. This is dark, by the way. This is the last I'm going to say, but it's a dark, true thing. The only time a man receives flowers is at his funeral. Like, we don't get praised very much. We don't have people that are always telling us, you did a great job, or you know, we're really proud of you, or whatever. We're expected to work hard, provide for our families, and if there's a problem, most of us don't talk about it. We keep it in, you know? That's just how men are. I don't know necessarily if that's a healthy thing, but it's how it's always been. My family in particular, it's always been like that. Like, I didn't even know my dad is sick. I had to learn from my mom. My mom told me my dad's having problems with his heart. And he's, like, in his 60s now or something like that. And he didn't tell me when he came to visit me. He looked fine. But, you know, he's having problems. It's not bad yet, but it's not good. Not for his age, you know? But I had to find out through my mom, because my dad's not going to tell me. No way. Like the Man in the Moon? Yeah, I guess so. But that's just how it's expected of us, because, I mean... I'm trying to remember... I'm trying to remember, there was a... Oh, I remember. There was this lady... I think it was in the 80s or something like that. She was writing a book. And she disguised herself as a dude. Like a teenager or whatever. And she went to work. And she was treated horribly at the job because she was a man. Like, or people thought she was a man. So she had to do, like, all the tasks that we have to do at work. And, you know, she wasn't getting any... encouragement, she wasn't getting any good job, she was just like expected to do it. And if she complained, she got yelled at or something like that. So she literally walked a mile in men's shoes and she wrote a book. I don't remember the name of the book, it was from the 80s or 90s or something like that. But she learned a very interesting perspective from our point of view. It was like, where with girls, they need constant reinforcement that they're, you know, doing a good job at work, or they need more emotional support than we do. But deep down, we need, you know, it's nice when somebody tells us we do a good job, or, you know, our wife gives us a hug and says, you know, I'm proud of you, or something like that. We like that. We just don't get that very much. It'd be nice if we did, but, you know, it's not the norm. I get a lot of hugs, though, so maybe I'm, my wifey gives me a lot of hugs. Amber's love language is hugs. She loves giving hugs. So I get a lot of hugs. It makes me happy. I like it. Now we're fighting bots again? We did so bad that we have to fight bots? Okay. We did so bad, we have to fight the bots. Oh my god. Oh no. Sorry, Jacob. You don't even get gifts on your birthday? I got gifts on my birthday until I was 20-something. And then my wife would get me gifts on my birthday. My parents would give me cash, or they'd give me a card. I stopped getting gifts from family members when I turned 18, really. Stop mentioning me? Huh? I don't even know who you... Wait. Are you saying because I'm saying the word the, I'm talking about you? I'm so confused. Is it... Now I can't subconsciously not use the word the when describing a sentence. Have a good night, Cosmic. Remember, guys, tomorrow is going to be Marvel Rivals. What are you doing, buddy? Come here. Come here. What are you doing? Those are amiibos. You can't play with that. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on? Come here. Okay, you're acting really weird. I mean, I can't shy away from the whole vampire thing. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you eating? Hey. Wow, that's rough. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't... No. My family still even gives... They send, like, some cash for my birthday. They stopped giving Christmas and birthday gifts, like, many, many years ago. Get gift cards for Christmas and birthday. Which I use in case of emergency. My parents are always like, use it for whatever you want. It's like, okay, it's an emergency fund in case, like, our paycheck is late, or we need to get groceries, or there's a flat tire, or whatever, you know? Oh, you're gonna show your lunar skin? Luna? That's cool. So anyway, let's get back on the Superman subject, because it's been a while. I got off the... Somebody made me go off topic. But I think that, honestly, my favorite character in Superman is Mr. Terrific. Like, just based on the cool sequences that he had, not just his fight sequence, but also, like, you really got to see Mr. Terrific step up. Like, if anybody was going to be the leader of this Justice League right now, it would need to be Mr. Terrific. Like, because he just... I don't know. He seems to have everything in order that he needs to in order to get the job done. You know? He's a good field commander. He's good at taking charge and, you know, planning ahead, figuring out what needs to be done, and then executing it. Like, that's a leader right there. Also, he has compassion, which is cool. Mr. Terrific was dope? Yes, he was. 100%. Yeah. Yep. Link, what are you doing? You're really weirding me out, buddy. Are we fighting bots again, or these other players? Come on, the bots. Are we fighting bots? Are we fighting other players? Oh, no. What are you doing? You're gonna put some things if you keep this up. Stop. You're very cute, but also you're being really weird. I gave you food. How's it going? Oh my goodness. Who's the better superhero? Mr. Fantastic or Mr. Terrific? Depends on the universe. Link, don't. Stop. What are you doing? Why do you have to act all crazy, huh? Almost at it now. You didn't have your fan on before? I'm streaming until at least close to 1. Why wouldn't you be able to go back to sleep? Hey, honey, do you smell, like a strong chemical smell? Okay. Link's acting really weird. Like, really weird. Link, what did you just eat? Stop. I just liked everything about Mr. Perfect in the movie, so I really want to see more of him. Superman what, honey? He was smart. Superman picked up how Lex was defeating him. Superman used his brains a lot in the movie. My problem, I just didn't want Superman to lose so much. I didn't mind him losing at the beginning of the movie. But to see him constantly, like, taking L's the whole movie was just, Until the very end, it was a little annoying. Even in most heroes' journeys, movies, or animes, or whatever, when the hero is struggling, they don't struggle that badly. There's, like, a nice in-between of, like, struggle and success. And the problem I had with David's Superman is he failed a lot and then succeeded in the end. Almost came out like, I don't know. He looks like a young Henry Cavill. Yes, he does. I still argue that they got a guy who looked so similar to Henry when he was younger, so that they can bring older Henry back. Yeah. Who is smarter between Mr. Terrific and Reed Richards? Reed Richards. That's not even a contest. Mr. Fantastic is one of the smartest, if not smartest comic book characters in the world. In any world. Mr. Terrific knows a lot of stuff, but he doesn't build anywhere near the type of stuff that Reed Richards does. Let's be honest. Mr. Fantastic is a great DC character that interacts with, like, gods and stuff like that, but he's not on the level of Reed Richards. You know? He's pretty terrific, though. You guys have any other questions for me? Because this has been a long stream. We finally hit 1,000 views. It was a 3-hour and 20-minute stream. Yeah, he's not Dr. Doom's nemesis for no reason. Exactly. Yeah, Dr. Doom sees Reed as, like, a big problem. The only time he failed was because of Ultraman and the Kryptonite. I mean, the Kryptonite was a given. That didn't bother me. That made a lot of sense. I like how they handled the Kryptonite scene. That was fine. And the whole Ultraman stuff made sense later. It's just like... It just felt like he was taking so many L's. And they explain a lot of the L's. You know, at the end of the movie, why that happened. Why Superman lost his first fight and all this other stuff. Like, they explained all that. But it still was annoying to me because Superman's not supposed to fail that much. And like I said, starting off the movie the way they did is fine. It's great. It created a conversation, especially the battle in Metropolis that he goes back to. That's all fine. That works fine. The surrendering and the stuff like prior to the Kryptonite, that stuff bothered me. The scene in the stadium bothered me too. Like, that wasn't necessary. That was prolonged. Because then they showed a character who wasn't even on the same skill level as Superman was able to beat him, and I was just like, okay. That was too much, you know? And if you see in the movie, you know what I'm talking about that happens in the stadium scene. So I was just kind of like, I was rolling my eyes a little bit. I was just thinking, when is this boy actually going to get a win in this movie? He can't win in his relationship. He can't win at being a superhero. The Justice Gang thinks he's a joke. Like, when are we going to see Superman actually, besides, you know, randomly saving people, which is all fine and dandy and great, and shows that he's able to do stuff, but why in the world did they have him struggle against that one character? Unnecessary. I don't like Guy Gardner, but I don't like Guy Gardner in general, so I think Nathan Fillion did a great job. I can't stand Guy Gardner, but I've never liked Guy Gardner, so it doesn't bother me. It's like, well, he's playing Guy Gardner spot on, so kudos, but I do not like Guy. I'm waiting for the introduction of Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern show. So that's what I'm waiting for. I heard that Guy Gardner's going to be in it, or he'll cameo or something, but yeah. David looks like Henry. I wonder if it was intentional. We'll find out in the future, won't we? If they do an older Superman movie. Yeah, in the movie, if you don't like Guy, then you won't like Guy. Yeah, because he's Guy. I've never liked any version of Guy Gardner. I couldn't stand Guy Gardner in Batman Brave and the Bold. I thought he was a great actor who played him, but it made me really understand why I don't like the character of Guy Gardner. And Nathan has always voiced, like, Hal Jordan or another Green Lantern as a very heroic character, and to see Nathan act the way that he does as Guy Gardner and everything, it just... I don't know. But I thought Guy's scenes were great. It's just, I don't like Guy. I mean, Lex is gonna kill people. I was even telling Amber this. She didn't like that either, and I was like, well, you have to understand that Lex kills people. In the animated series, even though that was a show made for kids, they still had Lex kill people. He used mercy to do it. If Lex sent mercy after you, you weren't getting any mercy. Like, he was literally offing his enemies in the cartoon show. It's just Mercy was doing it. They would even drop subtle hints in the show. They'd be like, Mercy, did you take care of that one problem I had? And she's like, yes, Lex. And he's like, good. Says, remind me to send roses to so-and-so. My condolences. So, I mean, he was, you know, he was doing business, evil things, even in the cartoon show. You just, as a kid, you weren't paying attention to it. Lex kills people all the time. That just shows you that he's a irredeemable villain, which you want. You want a villain that stays a villain at the beginning and at the end of the movie. That's what makes your hero so great, is your villain needs to stay a bad guy. Oh, Clancy Brown was peak Lex? Yeah. John Cryer's Lex in the CW, the Crisis thing. He was okay. He came full circle of being the nephew of Lex Luthor in the 80s to actually becoming Lex Luthor in the CW. That was pretty cool. I thought John Cryer was okay. The guy from 2.5 Men. What, sweetheart? I know. Yeah, you didn't know that? John Cryer is from 2.5 Men. Men. Men, 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 manly men. Men, 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 men. BVS Lex was weird. Yeah, no argument. I didn't like BVS Lex. He was always... BVS Lex was always making noises like a cartoon character. Nga, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. After seeing that highlight reel of Lex's weird noises that he makes, which you can find on YouTube, it's like 10 minutes of BVS Lex making all these weird, awkward, like, even when he's doing a speech, he starts a speech, he's like, ladies and gentlemen, you know what, eat the food and do stuff. I'm just like, ugh. You know? And he's like, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, I love bringing people together. It's like, could someone punch him, please? Did not like his Lex in the movie. If we would have had, like, a cooler Lex Luthor in BVS, I think people would have liked BVS a little bit better. The problem is, the Lex Luthor in BVS is the comedy relief. He's Crypto. And he's more annoying than Crypto. Because you have two very overtly serious characters, which you need in that universe, like BVS, like Affleck and Henry Cavill, seeing who's more grumpier. And then you have this weird clown, Lex, who just acts like a weird Gen Z person. No offense. You know, he's wearing like bright white colors, and he's making all these weird noises, and when he tries to threaten people, you don't really... I didn't think he had it in him to blow up the courthouse. Like, he didn't seem like that kind of guy. So when he actually blew up the courthouse, it's like, oh, you know. Then when he captures Martha, he's like, Martha, 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 Martha. You know, he's holding up his pictures for the mother. And it led into the great warehouse scene, right? But, like, his scene was just stupid. I'm wondering if Henry Cavill was able to hold back the laughter, like, during those takes, because, I mean, it's just hard to take that guy serious playing Lex in those scenes. And those are supposed to be very dramatic scenes. With all those noises, he probably would have played a better Joker. Yeah, I think they should have made, the guy who played Joker Lex, and the dude who played Lex should have been the Joker. I think that would have been a better casting. Yeah. Martha, 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 Martha. Yeah, it is usually the most seasoned actor who plays the villain, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they should have made Ben Affleck Lex. Yeah, he would have been a great Lex. Alright, so anyway, guys, I wouldn't want him to not be Batman, though. That's it for this. I'm going to, I guess, have some cereal and work on my Superman review, and then I gotta get to bed by 2 in the morning, so I only have a little bit of a window to work, because I don't want to make Amber worry about me. Now my mom's worried about me, and I don't want my mom to worry too, so. Hooray. I know, Sweet Pea, you didn't do anything wrong. I know. So tomorrow's streams will be Marvel Rivals, like the Fantastic Four movie skin things, Donkey Kong post game, and that one thing, the Fantastic Four, the video game from 2005 or 6 or whatever. Okay? Alright, guys. You have a wonderful night. Thanks for hanging out. And this has been another Fortnite stream. Fortnite streams always get weird. So, if you come to a Fortnite stream, Fortnite streams get weird. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's all the guns and stuff. It just gets weird. Okay? Alright, guys. God bless. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Keep watching the Cat Short.